Hello, internet friends. My name is Bay. Welcome back to more Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, my MSQ journey. We're going to be starting here. This is chapter 14 of my overall chunks. We are not in Kansas anymore. Of course, if you want to watch more Final Fantasy stuff, I got all 7, both Remake and Rebirth, and the Platinum Hard Mode for Rebirth. All of 16. A lot of other MSQ stuff, Blue Mage, got a whole bunch of it on the channel. Or you can come watch live and you get all the extra stuff and the other nonsense that isn't recorded and uploaded for archival purposes. But for now, we're on quest 68, the Land of Levin. Means lightning. Shh. Hot toilet! Erneville looks upon Yasulani in disbelief. Doesn't make sense. That tower, was it always there? No, definitely not. Nor the wall over there. The material's not something we use in Tyrol. It's close to what we saw at the gate to the Golden City, or those mechanical soldiers. Such a massive structure couldn't possibly have been built in such short a time. No, it was zapped into being. Just went and it existed. I'm inclined to assume we've been transported to another location. Perhaps. Well, speculation will avail us not. We need to learn more before we can draw conclusions. That location was teleported to us. Let's take a look around then. Indeed. We're definitely this far into the story. It's battle armor the whole way through now. We're armored up. We are armored up. Axe beaks. Now, I feel these are just creatures from Tyrol, whereas the mechanical robots are not. This place is isolated by the dome, yet the skies are heavy with thunderclouds, the air oversaturated with lightning-aspected ether. This place is unnatural in a way I've never seen before. Is lightning dark aspected? Will this be a... I'm feeling if this is a reflection, what kind of calamity they must have had or tried to avoid or did avoid by absorbing it, but that obviously would change them. We got some big structure that's sucking up all the lightning or dealing with the... I don't think it would be an umbral calamity, not an astral. Oh yeah, see? Umbral static. So, there's part of my answer right there in the weather. It's an umbral event. I recognize the lay of the land. It's definitely Yasulani. And yet, that's the train track right there. Haven't seen anyone so far. It's like a train station, doesn't it? Must be the Yasulani station where the passengers disembarked. And perhaps we'll find someone to talk to there. Let's go and investigate. What a set piece, though. What a set piece. My goodness. Get this aetheryte real quick. Hey, Cryo. This aetherite is of Turali design. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this. What's left of it. It's fallen into total disrepair, almost as if it hasn't been used in decades. Oh, do you think when all this teleported here, it took what was here and teleported it back? Oh, that'd be awful. Amidst enormous alien structures, we have more familiar sights, like this station. And an aether current. This is a water tower for trains, isn't it? Yep. It looks like, oh. Yeah, so they're totally zucking up the lightning. So if this place had an umbral calamity of lightning, but they tried to avoid just succumbing to it, but living with it. Making and advancing their civilization to at least absorb and repurpose. It would never stop, to my understanding, how a calamity works. Like, it won't just resolve, it'll keep going. Wild set piece. Oops, sorry. I'm pretty sure this is the Yasulani station, but from the state of it, I'd swear it was abandoned years ago. Not sure what to make of this. I should look around a little bit more. Sorry, I got so close. I have depth perception. Same dialogue, I'm assuming. Yeah. Flying towers look like something from Netherstorm in World of Warcraft. I mean, something along those lines. It also has like a dark Tron vibe, like I talked about earlier. The building is a rotting husk. It has clearly been many years since anyone lived here. Unless when this teleported into our existence, it just zucked everything up. That's creepy. There's a robot just standing there. I think this thing is broken. The tracks are heavily rusted. We can see they haven't been tended to for a long while. You find a train turnable. The thick layers of rust suggest it hasn't been used in years. Finished poking around, have you? Let's gather everyone then. I want you all to take a look at this. Yeah. One of the mechanical soldiers, long since broken, apparently. But I'd say its presence confirms this is indeed Zoralja's domain we're in. What about the rest of you? Did you learn anything? So all evidence suggests this is Yasulani Station. Aye. But I've no doubt we're in Yasulani, but I don't understand why these buildings are so run down. They were completed barely a year ago. For new structures to deteriorate and enormous ones to appear in a flash, if I didn't know any better, I'd say time flows differently here. Oh. Uh-oh. That would be weird and bad. Is such a thing even possible? We've encountered this phenomenon before, and so it happens. It would be difficult to believe our world is one of, is but one of several. My brain wanted to read that one way, and the text said no. Our world is but one of several. In some respects, they are similar to one another, but in others, wholly different. We call them reflections. Simply put, the rift between dimensions cause time to flow at a different pace in each world. While hours pass in one, years may have come and gone in another. But if this is Yasolani, then we should still be in the source. The flow of time should be synchronized. I'm not sure I follow all this talk of reflections and dimensions, but if Arenville says this is Yasolani, then it must be. Our village is a little further along, right? Arenville! Oh! Yes, it's a short distance to the northwest. Let's head there next, then. Rather than talk theory, it's always better to confirm things firsthand. Ah! Oh, come on. You need robot voice? I don't think I can do robot voice. I think it sounds too weird.
May I be of assistance?
Yeah. Unless I fine-tune it, the default robot voice kind of hurts. It's still functioning. Doesn't seem to be hostile, at least. Perhaps we can ask it some questions. Can you tell us where we are? I can do this.
Unable to confirm credentials. Please present citizen identification. Unable to confirm credentials. Confirms.
It's broken after all. Too strange by half. Let's leave it and get going. Are those lightning rods? Ish. Would you accompany me for a moment? There's something I wish to investigate. Yo, hit it with the Thunder 4 and see what happens. Just blast it. Oh, we're going down. So catchy. Man, all these different Zoe musics have been so just so far. Look there. Lightning appears to be drawn to those pole-shaped structures over yonder. The design suggests there's some manner of lightning rod. Let's take a closer look. This material appears to be the same as that used in the mechanical soldiers and warships. On closer inspection, it appears to be fine etchings, rather reminiscent of arcane runes. But they're not merely decorative. I would posit it's used to harness lightning as a source of energy. Quite impressive technology. I'll share this observation with Y'shtola. For a blessing, the dome doesn't appear to interfere with link pearls. Thanks for accompanying me. Let's head to the village and find the others. That is still such a skyscape, though. My God. So cool. This is Aaronville's village? No sign of anyone. Let's stay vigilant. Oh, Aaronville. What in the world?
My home. It's in ruins. But why? What happened here? And where is everyone?
I had a look in a few of the other houses, but they had clearly been abandoned.
Damn it all. None of this makes sense.
Excuse me? Are you looking for someone?
Ah, really? Okay. Well, something has to move the plot forward. What the hell? Those eyes.
I apologize for giving you a fright. However, I did have reason to keep to the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Sorolja has told me a great deal about you.
Sorolja?
Greetings, and welcome to the realm of Alexandria.
Indeed.
I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
Queen of Reason?
If you are the Queen of Reason, is there perhaps a...
Yes, if you mean to ask if there is a King of Resolve. Sorolja holds that title, and together do we reign.
Okay.
Then you are both behind the attack on Tulihiola.
Hmm.
And I doubt you're here to offer us a warm reception.
Gosh, she looks so Final Fantasy, but just not this Final Fantasy 14. Her design is so distinct.
No, you have it all wrong. I am not come to fight. Sorolja rules alongside me, but that is a matter of expedience. In truth, we are at odds, he and I. It is at considerable risk to myself and my people that I come before you to beg your aid.
Our aid? I'll admit I cannot imagine King Zorolja is keen to share and share alike. But if what you say is true, you're still the queen.
Indeed. But I was once the sole ruler of Alexandria. Until one day, he appeared, bent on conquest. In my weakness, I feared his power. So I persuaded him to forego violence and strike a bargain. I would remain queen, and he would receive technology that would empower him to achieve even loftier ambitions, along with the knowledge to use it. A gamble, to be sure, but if it might spare my people...
If I may, the dome surrounding these lands was erected but recently. How is it he was able to not only invade, but instate a new system of leadership in a mere matter of days?
I've never heard of your realm. And this place is, or at least was, Yassolani.
Did I play Final Fantasy IX? Yes. Did I finish it? I don't remember. And do I remember much about the game, considering I played it when I was but a Wii gamer? No. There was a kid with a tail and Vivi. That's about all I remember.
The house I grew up in is still here. But 3 years ago, that tower and these strange contrivances weren't. Nor was our village in ruins. Where did you come from? And what happened to the people who lived here? You must know!
I realize how confusing this all must be. Truth be told, I don't fully understand it myself. What I can say is that one day, people from your Tuliolol suddenly appeared here in Alexandria. Or perhaps it was we who found ourselves in Tuliolol. Until but recently, we were completely unaware of events taking place beyond the barriers surrounding our realm.
Does this not remind you of the Crystal Tower? How after the 8th Umbral Calamity, we devised a means to transport the Spire across time and space from the source unto the first.
I was just talking about that on our way down here, Graha. So yes, it does.
Granted, this is on a much larger scale, if that is indeed what has happened. Not only the people and structures, but also the surrounding environment. Regardless, the people of Lakeland perceived the arrival of the Crystal Tower much as the Queen describes her own experience. Sudden and inexplicable.
Silly Bay Graha can't hear you. Why not?
Well then, you appear to have a better grasp of our circumstances than we do. Indeed, more than I dared hope.
Well, Graha is kind of a time and dimensional traveler. Ish.
In which case, a closer examination of the effects of this phenomenon may afford us more insights. Allow me to take you to the outskirts. A number of the Shatona live there as well. Perhaps your acquaintances are among them.
Hold on. If we accept, there's no guarantee we're not walking into a trap.
But if we're to defeat Zorolja, we need to understand how he grew so strong. Besides... you're right. Queen Sphene, before we go, Your Majesty, I have to ask, did you really have nothing to do with the attack on Tulihyolal?
Noble Wook Lamart, shall we dispense with the formalities? I'll not deny the soldiers and airships that attacked your people are products of Alexandria. But it was Zeralja, not we, who fashioned them into weapons of war and laid siege to Tuliolal.
So he alone is to blame.
No, I may not have prosecuted this war, but I nevertheless bear responsibility for it.
Perhaps. I know next to nothing about you, let alone what you've been through. So by all means, show us around. I think we'll learn a lot from meeting your people.
Wonderful! If you would follow me.
Can we take a moment to talk real quick about how kind of awkwardly silly Queen Sphene sounds? I take it there will be trouble if Zeralja hears of this. Isn't it a little odd for the Queen to be walking around on her lonesome? Question mark.
Is that concern or suspicion?
Yes.
If things should take a turn for the worse, might I call upon your aid?
Spoken like a true politician. Didn't answer the question.
I jest, of course. But you do strike me as the most capable here.
X. Queen Sphene. We're being debated, Alice. I'm with you. There goes without saying, but we're not just going to trust her just like that, right? No. And then when you look at it, a mysterious girl who appears out of nowhere proclaiming herself a queen is suspicious. Correct. Correct indeed. It just gives you that? Well, okay, it gives me more. Hold on. Freaking... Oh! Interesting how it gives us an 8th Umbral Calamity entry just because Graha brought it up that one time. But considering this is... The Unending Codex is only a thing that starts and gets filled out as we move forward. It's not being backfilled. Which is unfortunate because there's so much lore in this game that if you're really trying to understand it all, if you only start with this, which starts with Endwalker, it only get so much. But yeah. The 8th Umbral Calamity. The source has been visited by 7 cataclysmic events known as Umbral Calamities. The first one was the Calamity of Wind, followed by the Calamities of Lightning, Fire, Earth, Ice, Water, and finally the Calamity of Darkness. While these disasters may seem the logical consequence of conflict or national phenomena, they could not, in truth, have occurred without a massive disruption of the ethereal equilibrium of a reflection world. When a reflection's balance shifts drastically towards a single aspect, either umbral or astral, The heightened elemental energies seep into the source, much like water flows from higher to lower ground. An influx of fire aspected ether might cause extended droughts, for example, while ice could result in a widespread drop in temperature. These anomalies become increasingly common until a final great catastrophe breaks down the barrier between the two worlds. In that moment, all the ether which comprises the reflection floods into the source, and the catastrophe swells into a full-fledged umbral calamity. Though it did not take place within our present timeline, the 8th umbral calamity's origins can be tracked back to the 1st, where the power of light was ascendant. Even as the luminous excess bled into the source, the Garlean Empire launched its Black Rose upon the battlefield. The deadly gas itself, a weapon of light-based nature, was amplified far beyond its expected potency. It spread over a vast area, halting the circulation of ether and killing every living being with which it came into contact. The aether currents themselves were stilled, and the repercussions of this stagnation rippled throughout the environment. The Alliance leaders and scions who had gathered to fight the Imperial armies were slain where they stood. Thus began the Age of Unending War. Order broke down, violence ran rampant, and all fought in the savage battle for survival. In the midst of civilization's collapse, it was Cid and his Garland Ironwork stalwarts who led the development of an ambitious and far-reaching plan. Founded upon the knowledge that they had gleaned in preceding years, the group set out to create a reality in which the 8th umbral calamity never happened, to build a past in which the calamity was prevented and ensure that the fallen heroes survived into the future. Engineers and their collaborators toiled for generations, devoting their lives and the lives of their descendants to bringing this mad scheme to fruition. Finally, after decades of preparation, they succeeded in transporting the reawoken Crystal Tower backwards through the years and into the world of the First. Many adventurers and misadventures, or adventures and misadventures later, darkness was restored to the aligning reflection. The 8th umbral calamity was averted. None who live today bore witness to the tragedy, nor the great effort which went into making this miracle possible. None will ever know who their saviors were, nor the thoughts and fears which drove them, none will ever know if their bleak future was erased by the changing of history, or if it endures in a fork of time's eternal river. Here and now, their hopes for the world are evident only in the continued survival of those they gave everything to save. This is the ARR, basically. This is the what happened 1.0 to 2.0. And actually, Jesse Cox made a big video about this, just as the downtime was happening before early access started, going over this particular event in more detail than just reading an unending codex entry. And yes, new glasses, but these are my dressy glasses, my new casual glasses, the ones that would probably be better to wear with headphones because these kind of don't mesh well. These also are not fitted properly. I have to go back in 2 weeks because the other pair of glasses was already scratched on the inside of the right lens. So I had to send them back to get the inside of the lens refinished, unfortunately. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, neither of mine are sunglasses at all. They're just glasses. Not tinted or nothing. All right. Move on to quest 69. A royal welcome. Alizé is inclined to keep a close eye on the Queen. Well, having established that we should be wary we could use more information. So let's head to the place, the outskirts, to see what we can learn. Perhaps this, perhaps about Sphene as well. Looking up things about Final Fantasy IX's characters won't necessarily be very helpful, considering even if certain places, situations, and characters are pulled from other Final Fantasy games and moved into this one, they're not really like a one-for-one or whatever like that. There can be a lot of maybe there are story points and whatnot, but like when we had all the Final Fantasy IV stuff, it wasn't like they were all the same characters from their previous game, so. Yeah, just a ridiculous amount of references. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I believe it. Have you ever seen such strange contraptions? I wonder what this one is used for. Well, clearly it's a humidifier for growing crops. A most unusual farm, but the produce appears normal enough. Those brick buildings, I've seen their like before, though I cannot remember where. It's a relief to see the people here are well, at least. The innovations of Alexandria are nothing short of extraordinary. Alright, Sphene. I trust you have similar farming facilities in Tural. They have paddies and normal farms. They're completely different from ours. I've got no idea what all those machines do. We started on this approach after some trial and error. The Turali have their own methods of farming, which they wanted to continue employing. But the environment makes it challenging. There's too much rain, not enough light. Thankfully, the use of electrope has allowed us to fortify the buildings here, as well as provide what nature cannot. What? Electrope. It's a material we use for a myriad devices and applications. Oh, a topic for another time, perhaps, if you would follow me. We're nearly to the outskirts. So it both creates sun and waters them. Well, they do have that thing on their heads. The lamps seem to be about the correct brightness. Now to check the crops and see if any further adjustments are needed. Yeah, so they have that thing on their head. Is everyone? Mm-hmm. Yep. Just curious how this all is going to pin together, since knowing what Solution 9 was/is in its predecessor game. How does that connect with what Heritage found? And did they really give that away? Am I getting debated? Is Solution 9 just a city and I still don't know what the 6th zone is going to be? Or do they just show off the 6th zone and all the live letters? It's a relief to see the people here are well. Hopefully the same can be said for everyone in Yassolani. It's rather a lively settlement, isn't it? In defiance of this ceaseless gloom, almost. Fascinating how they've combined traditional bricklaying with electrope-based engineering. A curious blending of two cultures. I'll admit, I've seen nothing particularly suspicious yet. This is Tonawantan village, or at least it was before the dome and these strange contraptions.
Here we are. Though you'll doubtless find much of what you see in Alexandria strange, The traditional agriculture practiced in this village at least should be familiar.
Queen Sphene? What business brings her here, I wonder?
The queen has come!
You look well, Paquine. And Catogne, I see you've already taken to your new position.
When she introduced herself as queen, I was expecting someone colder. Honestly, she reminds me of you, Namachi.
Yep, and in typical anime logic, I don't know if Sphene is 16 or 16,000 years old. Because, again, anime rules.
Me?
It's only natural for a ruler to love her people. And I should like to know them as best I can. Even the most trifling details.
Yeah, but why don't you have a thing on your head like everyone else does?
The more you come to know them, the more you grow to love them. Who they are and what they've built.
That's it. Beautifully put.
And it would appear that she is well loved in turn.
Your Majesty, you honor us with your presence. And who are these fine people?
Tuliolol's vow of resolve Wuk-Lamat and her companions. They come from beyond the barrier, but you needn't worry. They are good people and are to be treated as my honored guests.
The rumors of a link to the outside are true, then. Wuk-Lamat is still so young. Oh, where are my manners? I am Popone, a leader of sorts of the people living out here.
Papone? That is a tone of Wautenrig to it.
Right you are. I take it you hail from this region as well? Teshpiani, perhaps?
Yes, I do. I don't suppose you know a woman by the name of Kafkiwa?
See, that H is actually an F sound. Kafkiwa. Again. No things. God, this is so awkwardly eerie.
Kafkiwa. I'm afraid I'm not sure if I've ever met someone with that name.
Oh. Mother isn't here. But it's a relief to know at least some of the people of Yasulani are alive and well.
Your mother, you say? Now that you mention it, I do see the resemblance.
You know my mother?
I do. Yes.
Why'd she say it like that?
Then tell me, please, where is she?
I cannot say. Not here, but I promise I will in due time.
I have a question, Pepone. Do you recall what happened the day the dome first appeared?
The barrier? Well, I remember fixing a shelf that had collapsed after a terrible earthquake. Then the ground began to tremble. There was a brilliant flash of light, and then... Forgive me, my recollection of it all is rather poor.
You needn't push yourself, Pepone. After 30 years, no one could blame you for not remembering.
What?
30 years? As in 30 years in the past?
Absurd though it may sound, there is no doubt in my mind the events that led to the joining of our lands occurred 30 years ago.
It's been like 6 days for us.
Which is not to say I understand why our perceptions of the intervening time are so radically different. We only just became aware of the discrepancy when Zoralja's military base was completed, and we were at last able to venture beyond the barrier.
I believed you long dead. To have the chance to kill you myself is an unforeseen blessing.
It's a good flashback.
"30 years. Little wonder Zoralja assumed our father had already passed away.
It's not unlike how time passes differently in the First and the Source. The fluctuating space of the rift between them disrupting temporal equivalence.
Thank you, nerd boy.
Perhaps the same holds true here, and time flowed faster within the dome.
Until, like, right now, I guess. Meaning this is a piece of another reflection. Or do you suppose time is still passing faster in here? Yeah, I guess. I don't know which one he's going to answer. Both.
I was able to make contact with Yestola not long ago via link pearl, so that shouldn't be cause for concern.
Okay, yeah.
And based on the Queen's account, this encampment may have come to serve as a physical bridge between the two planes, after which the dome was forced into the source's temporal flow.
How convenient.
If we're to be certain of anything, we need more information. Sphene, would it be all right if we had a look around and spoke with the townspeople?
By all means.
Time to see what we can see of Alexandria, then.
And its people. I may yet find familiar faces among the survivors from Yasolani.
Even if I don't understand the half of it, I would learn more of this place before we confront Zoralja.
Perhaps you'd care to see how we make our living. Though we have always prided ourselves on the use of traditional Tonawatan farming methods, the use of electro-fueled technologies has led to countless agricultural innovations.
I would join you as well.
Ma'am, please, you needn't trouble yourself.
It's no trouble at all. And I promise not to cause any manner of distraction.
Reassuring words, or they would be had I not heard them countless times before. Very well, but do be careful.
Of course. I shall proceed with the utmost care. Now then, if you two would follow me, we can begin the tour.
I can't say that I trust her yet, but I trust that her affection for these people is genuine. And that's enough for me.
I'm not taking my armor off, so we are in full armored up mode. Ugh. Is Bob with the tankard tender? Got swole tendy. Touring farmlands with the queen of another nation is not how I expected to spend my day. Electrope has done much to improve the efficiency of their farming, but hasn't replaced everything. People wanted to preserve their old way of life, and we did not want to force ours upon them. We went to such lengths so that our cultures could coexist, even going so far as to learn our tongue. I'm sure everyone appreciated that. Communication was thankfully not an issue, for the Turali tongue is surprisingly similar to Alexandrian. Of course it is. Of course, there are words and phrases of which there is no equivalent, but those can be taught with minimal effort. Through mutual respect, understanding, and patience, we Alexandrians and Turali have learned a great deal from one another. And I am sure there is much you wish to learn as well, so please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. Indeed. Quest number 70, a day in the life. We get some Turali tart. Sphene is eager to show you around. Rather than bore you with lengthy explanations, let us head back to the farm we passed earlier. Whoopio Halo. What the freaking heck? Yupie's Halo, I guess. Yupie's Halo, it's called. You can speak one of the farmers when we arrive. Want to talk to me about the weird mind control things and everybody? I guess we're off to Yupie's Halo. Because, from what I'm understanding, based on what the boss said when we got here, their resurrection power comes with a cost. A little story. The resurrection power definitely seems to come with a cost. As apparently Xander the snake, what is it, Snake Skinner? What was his freaking name? When he resurrected, he got mad at us for quote unquote wasting souls. Different music now. There we are. I'm sure you'll learn a great deal from the workers here. What do you suppose they keep inside this building? Don't Dead open inside, clearly. Mahuwase? Mahuwasa is her name? I'm going to introduce you to, yeah, Mahuwasa, one of the most experienced farmhands in all of Alexandria. She's well versed in myriad farming techniques. Indeed, the wealth of knowledge she has shared with other farmers is what has allowed this place to flourish. Queen Sphene, what do I owe this sudden shower of praise? My apologies for the interruption. I've come with guests from beyond the barrier. They wish to learn more of Alexandria, so I invited them to see how our crops are grown. I do hope that's all right. Well, the rumors of visitors from the outside were true. What manner of host would be to deny them a look around, and I gather your majesty also intended to check on things here. You know me too well, Mawusa. I thought to seize opportunities to see how the farmers fare and perhaps pepper them with a few questions, though I do so enjoy observing and taking part in the work too. It would appear we have her permission, so please walk the grounds to your heart's content. No, she's not the evil containment wave. You go on ahead. I'll keep Sphene company. You call her Queen Sphene? Don't misunderstand. I'm not the suspicious type, but given our positions, it would make sense for us to go around together, wouldn't you say? A fair point. Be sure not to let me out of your sight. Sorry, I had to jump in a Discord to get the soundboard. I shall remain under Wooklamot's watchful eye. Pray, come find us after you've seen your fill and spoken with the other farmhands. I know it's Final Fantasy and all, and Yoshi P is all about the quainticities of being an adventurer. That's why there's so many quests that just kind of feel kind of benign. It's all about keeping it low and grounded. Because the time that it has gone way crazy was, say, like Endwalker, for example. So, and then even Shadowbringers too. We literally traveled different worlds, so there's a lot of these quests that are always kind of very low key, very small scale. That's why we are inside of a crazy interdimensional-esque dome that until just recently was a different reflection, or at least part of a different reflection of our own world that was having a different fluctuation of time, which apparently was probably surviving a calamity, if I'm to understand all this Levin nonsense. But we're sitting here talking to farmers. That's just how, instead of the game continuously scaling up and up and up and up and up, it always goes, it comes back down. And it goes, oh, and it comes back down. It's just the way that Final Fantasy XIV flows. Thought that was weird to be fine. As for the power source. You should know about my job. I tend to the fields mostly, watering the crops, keeping the soil fertile, and so on. I admittedly took some time until I fully understood how best to carry out my duties. I also manage the lamps we use in the fields. Do our best to keep everything up to code. But should they start to malfunction, it's up to me to fix them. Land and sky, being what they are, ensuring a rich harvest makes for constant work, but honestly I enjoy how involved the process is. With my parents being Alexandrian, I didn't grow up knowing much of anything about farming. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. Oh, unfamiliar face. I gather this is your first time on site then. Well, This here's the storehouse, or rather the entrance. The real storehouse is underground, much more spacious and equipped with a temperature regulation system to keep the harvest from spoiling. Since the entrance is so small, it's much easier to prevent wild beasts from wandering inside. It also makes it a viable facility for breeding and raising livestock. We've even got a few beds down there for emergencies. My parents often complain about how Alexandrian technology and electrope complicate our lives. It's just a matter of time, matter of learning how things work. Take my job, for instance. I'm presently overseeing the storage of harvested crops. They'll be taken to the tower for processing, and from there, find their way to every dining table in Alexandria. The work is hard, I'll not deny, but I take great satisfaction in what we do. So you're a farmer. Got it. Got it. Hey, it's Kipewe. Dodo birds? You said that you and yours are visitors from beyond the barrier. That true? Indeed. So it is, which means we're connected to the outside world again. Not that I have a desire to leave, mind you. I'm quite content with life here in Alexandria. But setting that aside, you're here to observe our work, right? As you can see, I'm in charge of the livestock. Here at Hippo's Halo, we produce not only fruits and vegetables, but also meat, poultry, and eggs. What's this, eggs? Tending to animals is absolute joy, but I have to be cheerful not to grow attached. Always a little sad when they're shipped off, but a job is a job. Well, I have to get back to it. It was nice talking to you. Please give my regards to the Queen. Sorry, Bob. I have a hard time seeing your name in chat without a sub badge next to it. You understand? Tell me not to worry about stuff when this is clearly someplace to be worried about. You're telling me we're not about to get this being like, oh, we're playing a Final Fantasy game and some horrible twist happens. You've already had the first horrible twist. I guess technically you've had two horrible twists. The nature of what happened in Mamuk was twist 1. Then the dome, this, and the assault on Tuliolal is twist 2. So we're in for one more twist. One more twist. Shame Kawana is not here to see all these bizarre contraptions. Oh, he would have a field day. I see. Don't be so hard. Don't be too hard on yourself. Anyone would have been hard pressed to deal with such a thing. Welcome back. My apologies for failing to notice your return. I gather you've had your fill of speaking with the farmers. Then let us return to Mahwasa. I mean, the chippy things on their heads are either some, not mind control or brainwashing device, but it's not out of the possibilities. It's some like collective consciousness thing or something where are they the souls that get slurped up to resurrect people? Are they all clones? Again, because we know Solution 9 is part of this. Do they keep them like living forever or something after a certain point? I don't know. I have to see some kids. I haven't seen any children yet. Are there any children in the town? Well, what are your impressions of the farm? Everything was surprisingly normal. I was amazed that everyone loves their work. Electrope is quite impressive. It's not normal. We don't have things sucking lightning out from the sky as energy. So Electrope, quite impressive. So it was the Electrope that caught your eye. It's only natural, I suppose, if you come from a place without it. Still, you only seem mildly impressed. That leads me to believe you have experience with even more marvelous technology. I'd love to hear your tales one day. I mean, I did meet our makers. Despite how I don't know much about Sphene yet and Alexandria and this reflection, our character knows who made all of us. It's kind of a crazy weight to carry around, right? That you know who birthed every single everything. Just coffee table talk. over some tea and crumpets. What do you think of our little tour, Lamachier? She allowed to call you that yet? What did you call me? Was that inappropriate? My apologies. I heard the others call you that by name, I thought. No, it's fine. As you said before, you've no need for titles and formalities. Yeah, but saying Queen Sphene is funny. As for my thoughts, I was very impressed. The machines would be used to overcome so harsh an environment is amazing. Never seen anything like it. The feeling is understandable. Indeed, many still find the machinery behind me baffling. It's a system that controls the distribution of water for the fields and livestock. It's been acting up lately, though. Probably because your time dilation has changed. Acting up, you say? Needn't worry, my queen. It happens fairly often. Put simply, it's taken in water that had a strong lightning charge. I think some creatures have become charged up with the energy, and they're releasing it into the river we use as a source. The system would return to normal if the creatures were dealt with, but I'm reluctant to beg it of the army. Does she have longer fingers than us? Like, is her model specifically not, like, just higher with different hair? You could take care of it if you like. Obviously, she's a special model, but... Most gracious of you to offer, but it is much too dangerous. X. Oh, it's no trouble for the vow of resolve of Tuliolao, or else how the relationship between our nations may develop. If there are people in need, I want to help. Simple as that. Bay is even stronger than I am. Shouldn't take us long at all. Very well. I gratefully accept. But please, take all care. I mean, I'm gonna hit glare. Then, after that, I'm gonna hit glare. Maybe a little sprinkling of Bia. And maybe even if they're lucky, some glare 4. Thought to go even faster if you and I search for lightning-charged fiends on our own. Good hunting. The obligatory, you've been talking for long enough, here, go hit some buttons for about 18 seconds, then come back and talk more. I do not doubt your strength, but please be careful. Whoosh. Oh. It was everywhere I didn't look. Ow. Blech. Uh-huh. I got no glare 4 charges. Oh, they fully resist the stun. Cringe. Already a triple triad, My. You don't say. There'll be much triple triading in the future, but not right now. Oh, you're both all right. Thank goodness. Really didn't have worried so much. Barely broke a sweat dealing with the fiends. They're all gone now. Of course I was worried. You're my dear guests. But thank you. We truly appreciate this. Indeed, with this, we won't have to ask Zeralja's machines for help. They're making a concerted effort to bolster his forces, sparring but a fraction for the people's protection. He thinks nothing of our safety, unlike Queen Sphene. That's enough, Mahwasa. If you have grievances, I will hear them later, but to speak of the king now. No, she's right. He's never been one to look out for his people. Anyway, thanks for letting us tour the farm. The folks here are delightful, and it was a pleasure to meet them. You couldn't have favored us with more uplifting words. My people are my pride and joy. They're all weird clones, aren't they? They're all like, they're going to be huge baby batter vats or something. Never fail to let us know, nor how much you care. Of course, you're my precious family, all of you. Ah! He's a good sort, Sphene. That I'll admit. You'll forgive me if I'm not ready to lower my guard for the enemy queen just yet. For you to be called that, I dread to imagine how villainy your majesty... Oh, what villainy your majesty has committed. Come now, this is no laughing matter. A ruler is responsible for the welfare of countless lives, and one wrong decision can lead to untold suffering. Failure is unconscionable. She is Kubrick staring me real hard right now. I am getting so Kubrick stared. That is a conscious decision. I am a film nerd. You can't trick me with film techniques. You could debate me with them, but I will see them. Because that's a Kubrick stare. 100%. A Kubrick stare is when a person is looking through their eyebrows and you no longer can see the window of the soul, as it were, the light of the eyes. Like you see that the shine in someone's eyes from a light source. That's a Kubrick stare. Mostly it's through the eyebrows, because it just looks off and evil and sinister and conniving and all those kind of things. This is a conscious choice to give her this angle. See, even my bun recognizes it. Now I believe we are done with the farm. Let's move on, shall we? Uh-huh. I'm not eating that tart. I ain't eating that tart. No sirree, Bob. I ain't eating that tart. Nope. Shut the fuck out of here. That tart's gonna be people or something. Alright, I've been fooled once by that. Shadowbringer says hello. Zeralja, you bastard. My apologies for laughing earlier. Your friend painted an image so far removed from the Sphene we know. Couldn't help myself. Yeah, because you got like weird mind control devices on. You don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Could be wrong. But tropes are there for a reason. We move on to quest number 71, On the Cloud. Sphene would take you back to the outskirts. Perhaps we should head back to the outskirts. I dare say your friends will have returned by now. And thanks again for dealing with the fiends. Come and visit us anytime. Sorry. I've been doing nothing than playing this game now for like, what, 5 days straight? 4 days straight? I can't even remember. 4 days straight. 5 days straight. I don't know. It's just seeping into my skin. There's so much of Alexandria I would love to show you. Want to show you the clone vats? You gonna go there? Or whatever. Do you hear that? I heard lightning. Oh, voiced.
What's happening over there?
It's nearly time.
Oh.
I'm glad you could make it.
Are you with us?
Queen Sphene has come to see you. We're here, Namika. Everything is going to be all right. What's the matter, dear?
Yep.
It can't be. That's the bangle I gave to Namika.
You know her?
Of course I know her. She was like a mother to me.
I see. She was always willing to lend a kindly ear to others, but rarely did she ever speak of herself.
Is it really you?
She must have arrived shortly before the barrier manifested. For us, it was perhaps days, but for her...
Namika, it's me! Wuklamat!
I'm afraid her time with us is nearly at an end.
Has she no more soul cells?
Okay, we gotta start learning about this shit now. All right.
She always used hers sparingly, but at her age, it wouldn't make a difference.
Ma'am,
the ushers have arrived.
Thank you, Namika, for your many years of friendship. Take comfort in the knowledge that this is not the end. Be not afraid. Your memory will live on in us.
Living on in memory. The giants share a similar belief.
I have a feeling it is not the same. Oh, Alize.
Wait, where are you taking her?
Worry not. She is being escorted to a medical facility in the tower. There we will ease her burden. I had hoped to make arrangements for her sooner, but she wished to remain here for as long as possible. I could not bring myself to refuse her.
Is there any way I might stay with her for a little while longer? We may not share the same blood, but she was my mother. Please.
Let us give them some time alone.
She didn't speak, but I'm grateful that I could be with her at the end. Thank you.
It's not the end. Oh, nothing. I was just thinking that we have much to discuss. Where shall we begin?
They recycle people. Just something, yeah. They do they people recycle or something. Something's going. I love all the little hints though. That line, the previous one, the Kubrick stare. Yep. Yep. This is good. It's good. It's good. I mean, it's probably awful and terrible and fucking weird, but yeah, we'll get there, I'm sure. Oh, boy.
With what we can be reasonably certain of, perhaps. Between what we have witnessed and the testimony of Alexandria's inhabitants, it's safe to say that two distinct lands have indeed become one. What's more, having met Namika, there is no denying the divergence in the passage of time. Taken together, these phenomena strongly suggest that some manner of cross-rift displacement has occurred. Specifically, the displacement of Alexandria from another reflection to the source.
It does seem the most likely explanation.
What perplexes me, however, is the scale of said displacement. It far exceeds what could conceivably be achieved with a Void Gate, or even with the Crystal Tower.
Well, the Crystal Tower was moving one building. The Void Gate wasn't moving anything, just people going through it and coming back. Just basically opened a portal. This is a whole region.
In essence, we are dealing with a localized instance of dimensional compression. The Ascians would no doubt liken it to a rejoining.
A very tiny one in comparison, but still.
Which invites the question, how was such a feat accomplished?
I wish that I had an answer for you, but this talk of reflections and dimensions is well beyond my understanding.
X.
I can only tell you that we lived peacefully under the barrier's protection for many, many years, until the day that peace was suddenly broken.
If I may clarify, the barrier predates Alexandria's displacement.
By several hundred years, yes. To when the continent we call home was ravaged by a devastating cataclysm.
A calamity?
The barrier was erected to isolate us from the surrounding land's noxious influence.
I see. And it was only later that it was whisked away, along with its contents, by means unknown.
In other words, Sphene's as lost as the rest of us, right? The Alexandrians didn't mean to end up in Tural.
But of course, our next stop ought to be Everkeep. That tower over yonder.
That's 4 flags if you haven't been counting. Not 1 or 2 or 3, but 4 flags. To quote Dragon Ball Z Abridged, is that a red flag? Crimson.
Once you have been registered as my guests, you will have access to Solution 9 and its residential district, where you will doubtless gain invaluable insight into Alexandria's state of affairs.
Just like that, huh?
Unfortunately, I cannot take you directly to where Zoralja resides.
That you'd let us in it all goes a long way toward proving you're not content to let Zoralja do as he pleases. But we're not talking about a simple difference of opinion here. I've come to avenge my father. And to do so, I intend to take Zoralja's life. Are you willing to stand by and allow Alexandria's king to be slain?
A fair question. Permit me to answer it thus. My people come first. Their welfare is paramount. I will do everything in my power to keep them from harm. It is a ruler's duty. Now, I am off to register you at Everkeep. It may take some time, but you shall find the entrance open to you in due course. Oh, and ere I forget, your mother, Kafkiwa, you might try the Thunder Yards to the east.
The Thunder Yards? Is that where she is?
I am afraid I can say no more than that. Make for the Thunder Yards, and all will be made clear.
It's not as if we have other pressing business. Not until we can get into this Everkeep, anyway.
5th flag?
Thank you for earlier. And for being a friend to Namika these past 30 years. It means a lot to me.
Namika? I'm sorry, but I don't know who you mean.
the low and high distorted angles.
We were just with her. If this is some sort of a joke, it isn't funny.
I don't mean to give offense, but I honestly have no idea who you are talking about. I'm sorry.
How can you not know who she is? You're in charge here. She was under your care.
Then in all likelihood, my memories of her have been stored in the cloud. Any person seemingly forgotten without reason is probably there, in the cloud. Oh, I really must be getting back to work. If you'll excuse me.
Okay. This is very unsettling. We'll see how it is with other people. As far as I could tell, Papuani generally had no recollection of Namika. I've never seen nor heard of anything like this before. What's going on? How could Papuani suddenly forget about Namika? As if he never knew her. Could the same thing have happened to the others as well, I wonder? There's only one way to find out. Let's make inquiries about Namika in the area. You can reconvene afterwards at the Aetherite. No one's gonna know shit! Cool story hook, though, that's for certain. Very creepy pasta. An old woman named Namika. I'm afraid I don't know that person. Sorry I couldn't be of help. How fares the new Everkeep assignment? Do you recall caring for someone until recently? And you say that it was a woman named Namika? Well, I can't say for certain it was her. I wouldn't worry. I'm sure she's just been taken up to the cloud. It's not common, but it does happen from time to time. What's that? Do I know a Namika? Never met anyone by that name, and I've worked on the outskirts for a good while now. If you spend time here, I would remember. Yep. So it was the same for everyone. Not a single person remembers Namika. It's as if the memory of her has been purged from their minds. Well, such a thing might be done with magic. To alter the memories of so many at once would be a tremendous undertaking. We would have felt a surge of ether corresponding to the act, too, and I sensed none of that, none in the moment. Neither did I, but I did notice something else. Right before Pepoane seemingly forgot, a light in the device on his head began to blink. Could there be a connection? Someone also said something about soul cells. But who might we ask about this? If we continued making such inquiries, I expect it would only cause confusion. Indeed, if we can't really solve a mystery about Namika, perhaps we could search for Kafusia instead? Or Kafukiwa? Kafukiwa. It's an 8, it's F sound. The H is. Sphene said to try the Thunder Yards. It should be in this direction. Yeah, Kafukiwa. What the heck is that thing?
Impossible.
Hmm? Another kind of mechanical soldier. Looks dangerous. Better destroy it.
Ah!
Should we give chase? I think it understood our words. Might be worth asking it some questions. Aaronville, are you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. It's nothing. I'm fine. X. Well, it went off in the direction we're headed anyway. Let's try to track it down. Indeed. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, Kafkiwa. Over this way we go. Nothing but birds over here. That voice. Could it be? No sign of it over here. I do not see it. It's faster than it looks. Hmm. You found it? Well, not exactly. The northeast. It must be bound for the mines. Come on, then. Could well be a trap, so let's not rush in too quickly. Very fair. I think it's safe to assume it went into the mines. Into the mines! An old coal mine appears to have long since been abandoned, like so many other places. The stones in those crates. Could it be turquoise? So went in here. Your faint voice is coming from inside. Not alone. But we're still going in, of course. This may be a trap. Be ready for a fight, everyone. The earthen sky. It would appear no one has worked these tunnels in quite some times. Except the Yen-ish Heany bats. Oops. I can hear them. Several people up ahead. I can't make out their conversations with the echoing. Let's keep going. Stay on your guard. Meant to click Wooklamot, but I clicked before I was done moving my mouse. A little too early on that. Hi.
What is this?
It's like a weird teddy bear robot with Rayman vibes.
Aaronville!
A trap?
I don't think so. What?
It really is you!
Elenishpia. Elneishpia. What a long name.
Huh?
Who?
I just had to get a look at you in the light. And I can still hardly believe my eyes. But it is you, my darling Elenispia!
Oh my god.
My darling what now?
Elenishpia. It's super easy. Just look how it's spelt. It's super easy to pronounce. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so good to see you, my fussy little bun bun. But what are you doing here? What brings you all this way?
That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Fussy little bun bun.
Why the long face? Aren't you happy to see me after all this time?
I'd know that laugh anywhere. Mother?
Wait. Since when was your mother a weird floating thing?
And what have we here? Say, aren't you Galoo Jaja's kitten?
Oh.
I knew I recognized that adorable fuzzy face. Spear was always so excited whenever you invited him over to play. You remember me, I hope?
I can't say that I do, but you know my father?
Appearances notwithstanding, it would seem this is my mother, Kafkiwa.
I'm sorry?
Same.
Oh, this won't do. Come in! Friends of my LNSP are always welcome.
All I ask is a little forewarning, but no.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sure, yeah.
Just when I thought I was starting to get a handle on this place. How are things still getting stranger?
Because you're in an anime video game called Final Fantasy. At this point, I doubt anything could possibly surprise me. Annabelle's mother is a floating machine. Right. That makes about as much sense as everything else thus far. I am assuming she is a soul cell or something of that nature, and she no longer has a corporeal form, potentially. They stuffed her into a little robot bear floating head thing. The Elegants had machines that could be controlled remotely. Is she using something similar to communicate with us? Also possible. Could be a remote-controlled robot. Can't say I understand what's going on, but at least Kafkiwa is safe. Well, as far as I can tell, this is indeed my mother. I can think of few people in the world quite so spirited, but as to what happened, we'll have to ask her. I love this dialogue. Anvil's mother is a floating machine. Right. That makes about as much sense as everything else thus far. That's too good. That is actually great. All right. Well, we surely can't stop now. We need to get some answers here. So we move on to quest 72. Gone and Forgotten. Anvil is conflicted by his long-fated reunion. So let's hear what she has to say. It's so wonderful to meet you all. And the students of Baldessian. It's been a while since I heard that name. Dare I ask the reason for your appearance? Right to it then, huh? Fair enough.
Oh, this? It's just a body that I control remotely. I use this for our operations. We're members of a resistance organization, Oblivion, we call ourselves, and our goal is to thwart Zerolda's ambitions for conquest. As the leader, it's prudent that I remain where I can't be easily found.
I see. Whimsical appearances notwithstanding, yours is a serious cause.
Right you are. Though, truth be told, Oblivion was founded on, for an altogether different purpose.
And that is?
I expect you already noticed everything you see here within this dome, the buildings, the people, the very earth beneath our feet, is a fusion of two worlds. Stopping such a fusion was Oblivion's original mission.
Then does that mean you know who or what is responsible for it?
I'm afraid not. This is a long time ago, and our mission statement has become more of a legend, let's say, passed down to members. By the time we joined, our sole objective even, was stopping Zerolja. But we failed to do that, and now he's taken his army outside the dome.
None of you wear those strange devices on your heads. Does it have something to do with your work?
You mean this? It's a regulator, the pinnacle of electrope technology, and that we don't wear it is indeed related to our operations.
What exactly does it do? Allow me to explain. My name is Geode. Regulators have two primary functions. The first, as the name suggests, is the regulation of the wearer's reserve of souls. Should they die, the regulators expend a soul to bring them back to life. Reserve? You mean people walk around carrying spare souls? They do. Souls are packaged in cells, and they can be used to replenish the life force that is lost due to sudden death, such as in accidents. They do nothing for those who die of old age, though. Distribution of soul cells is based on one's work evaluation to encourage exemplary performance when fulfilling their duties. Souls as a common resource and payment for services rendered. The Void Sent practice of consuming others for their ether comes to mind. And similarly, I expect that the act comes with some risk. Learned about that in the patch content leading up to this expansion. Hi, Zero. She was a cool character. Zeromus. Yep. Doesn't it dilute your sense of self? Or wouldn't the consciousness of others corrupt your own? That is preventable through memory management, a process in which regulators also play a role. Memory management? Then the reason everyone has forgotten Namika's existence. The regulators are constantly recording the memories of their wearer, so if they should suddenly die, their memories can be refreshed as part of the restoration process. This is how they preserve one's identity and sense of self. However, the regulators are also triggered when someone else dies. Reason being is that regulators forcibly extract memories related to the deceased from anyone wearing one. Why would they do such a thing?
It's a kindness bestowed upon the people by Everkeep's core system, so that no one has to suffer the pain of loss.
So this is what is meant by their memories being in the cloud. Indeed. All memories of the deceased are wiped from the minds of the people and archived in the system. It's a frightening function of the regulators, and an integral step in soul cell production. Yeah, pretty icky. Unique, kind of cool, but icky. You see, when a person dies of natural causes, their soul is temporarily housed within the regulator. It is then delivered to a facility where memories are separated from the soul. I said they were recycling people. I wasn't totally off. In this world, a soul is just like, you know, a blob of condensed ether, as everything exists essentially in that regard. The result is a fresh soul cell, free of impurities, ready for distribution and consumption. Yummy. Raspberry flavored. My favorite.
Meanwhile, the memories are stored in the core system to be remembered forever.
This is why people are happy here. On the surface, it's similar to the Yaqui philosophy, but I see nothing noble or comforting in it. Oh, sorry. It was blood orange flavored. My bad. Whoops. Well, doesn't seem so terrible to me personally. All comes down to what you're used to, I suppose. Like the barrier encasing Alexandria, this system was created to overcome the calamity that transformed the world hundreds of years ago. Yeah, picked up on that too. Amidst the mounting death toll, scientists used electrope to devise a mean to save what lives they could so that the nation could endure. Yep. I understand. The people of Alexandria did what they believe was the best to save their people. I find it hard to believe the Terali would also accept this way of living. Well, they probably had, like, accept or become soul cells. Yep.
It came as a shock to us as well. In fact, a great many were opposed to it. Which is why the use of regulators was never compulsory. People have always been free to go without them if they so wish.
Sphene didn't strike me as a sort of ruler to impose her will on others.
Ah. So you've already met?
She's the one who suggested we come to the Thunder Yards in the first place. She also said she wants to help us stop Zorolja.
Awfully kind of her to point you in my direction, and to speak so candidly as well. Whatever her motives, she has given the people a choice. Live with the risk of true death, or the security of the regulators.
Everything that lives must someday die. That's the natural order of things.
Quite right. But however you feel about them, it would be easier to understand what the regulators are capable of if you saw it for yourself. I know just the person to show you, and as luck would have it, they should be starting work right about now.
Who are we going to see, exactly?
Come with me, and you'll find out.
Suppose we will find out, won't we? This chick's name is just Nostalgia? It's kind of awesome. Geode, Nostalgia, and Weakwe. Well then. Oh good, it's raining out. Wait. It can raid inside the barrier? Inside the barrier has weather? I'm sorry, but I just can't accept the idea of using souls as a resource. I mean, I do. The blood lily beckons. We're to see how the regulators work, but how? So those regulators are to blame for everyone forgetting Namika, for forgetting what a wonderful person she was. To alter the memories of the populace with such precision is no small feat. What does she intend to show us?
Everyone here? Good. It is the responsibility of the Thunderyard's hunters to fell any fiends found wandering the area. We're to meet an acquaintance of mine, Strika, one of these hunters.
Right, but they're fighting things, I'm sure. She might, like, you know, get blasted and die, but because she's got soul cells, she comes right back. She can keep doing her job. What do you think is in this box? I'm guessing food. Judging by its name, I think its facility is for gathering lightning energy. Here you go, Wilklamont. Here, have some creamy hot chocolate. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Doesn't want it. I've also got some bolognese, some bacon broth, some giant haddock dip, some carrot nibblers, some some baked eggplant, got some caviar canapes. We got options. It's all room temperature though. Given the opportunity, I should very much like to study electrope on behalf of the students. While I'm not blind to the potential benefits of these regulators, the risks inherent in giving another party the power to alter your memories cannot be overstated. Never mind the ethical considerations of using souls in such a fashion. Let's get this over with.
Striker will show you what life can be like wearing a regulator.
They're basically like guardians. They're like Destiny Guardians, except that when a guardian dies, they get resurrected by the light, which is essentially, as we currently understand it, a never-ending resource, but eventually could run out depending on your situation, but usually it doesn't. You just resurrect when you die. Whereas this is clearly a recycling system of some sorts, where your resurrections, your soul cells, are someone else. You are using the soul of someone else that has no memories to get juiced back into you when you die, and that etheric energy resurrects you. Quite a different cost. Or fuel, more like it. Kafkiwa, what are you doing here? With so many friends.
Apologies for the interruption, but I was hoping they might observe you at work.
Hunting, you mean? That's fine, I guess. Hold on. I assume they were wearing special regulators like Queen Sphene's crown. But they aren't wearing anything at all. How many flags are we up to now? 7? 8? Okay. It's much too dangerous to be here without one. What if they're struck by lightning or attacked by beasts?
I can assure you they're all quite capable of looking after themselves if anything would go amiss. I will take full responsibility.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Danger aside, there isn't really much to see. Kafkiwa said you're a hunter, but wouldn't it be easier for those mechanical soldiers to guard this place? It would, if not for the fact that they're weak to lightning. The Thunder Yard being what it is, they've been ordered to steer clear. The ones that are outside were weird malfunctioning or defective or whatever they said their name was. Some good they are, eh? But these facilities are vital to the upkeeping of Alexandria's infrastructure, so if it falls to hunters like me to deal with any fiends. Given the danger, we're well compensated for our work. It's a perfect profession for anyone looking to build up savings. The special selection of souls for hunters isn't terrible either. Special selection of souls? Oh, yes, I will take the previously Michelin star chef with a side of noble firefighter dying in the course of action. Delicious. Something like that.
I brought this lot here to see this danger you speak of, if it's not too much trouble to ask.
Of course, in which case it'd be a shame to waste my efforts on just any old beast. You all can handle yourselves in a fight, right? If you cause a ruckus slaying what critters you see nearby, there's a chance you'll draw out something worthy of a demonstration. Okay. I'm not sure I understand, but I suppose we should each slay what we can? Mm-hmm.
My little fussy Bun was never any good at fighting, and this body of mine isn't suited to it either. I leave this work in your capable hands.
It is raining out. I'm afraid I must leave the fighting to you. Indeed, you must. Damn it. Stuck in my head. Charged Bolthound. Everything here resists stuns. Strange for like random mobs to be stun immune. Oh. What are those things called? An onze or whatever? Different versions, I guess. This one I'll do nicely. It'll help you. Look at those fist weapons, though. It's fine, really. I faced worse. Just watch. I don't like the looks of this. Let us help. Oh no. Look out. Arg. $12 preserve. She needs healing. Yep. The critter's just standing there, though. Or it ran away, I guess. I mean, we've already seen this, though. That was embarrassing. The bastard caught me off guard. Are you mad? Seriously, let us help. I told you not to worry. This will only take a moment. I was just sitting there waiting for us to exposiate. All right. Just like Zerolja. Come on, let's get out of here. That's also a function of the regulator? clearly. I think I understand now how Zerold was able to return from the dead and defeat Papa. I'm not sure what we saw at the end there. As soon as the regulator turned red, it was as if you were possessed. Your movements became beast-like. Don't tell me. You empowered yourself with the soul of a beast. I'm reminded of the serpentine soldier we encountered at Vanguard who did the same. So you've crossed paths with one of the king's elites. Such a form can only be achieved from gorging yourself on souls. Yo, we've got like Sword Logic Dark Souls references coming in. What the heck? All right. Dude, the Square Enix writing team, the CBU3, or what is it? CS3 now? Creative Studio 3? They were cooking. They thought up all these different little threads to pull together. We could do the same in theory, but it's incredibly dangerous. Besides, it's not as if they'd allow hunters to carry that many souls to begin with. Aha. Well, should be getting back to work. Take care.
And there you have it. Regulators can be loaded with two kinds of souls. Those of people and those of beasts. The souls of people can be used to grant the user preternatural strength. Naturally, it can also be used to ensure no one suffers an untimely death.
And what about the souls of beasts?
They work much in the same fashion, imbuing you with the strength of the chosen animal. If, for example, you use Soul of a Wolf, it would grow more agile and feral, as you saw with Srika. Using several of the same type at once, however, will result in physical changes. Your teeth might become fangs, your nails claws. Too many, and you'll become more beast than man.
Changing one form through souls of other beings becomes more and more reminiscent of Void Scent. Yet unlike the Void, where the cycle of death and rebirth is simply broken, souls here are forcibly taken before they might reach the ethereal sea. Different means to achieve similar ends. A cycle which all within the dome are bound. This is wrong. This is all wrong. It's indeed hard to accept, being so far removed from our own beliefs. Perhaps more shocking is the technology to achieve all this was developed hundreds of years ago. The civilizations in their reflections are surprising indeed. Sphene speaks of lived experiences that suggest she's far older than she appears, considering the power of those regulators. Perhaps it's not so far-fetched. Like I said, she's either 16 or 16,000. When Emet-Selch spoke of surprising civilizations and other reflections, I wonder if he had Alexandria in mind. You can't just name drop Emet-Selch like that, Graha. What? Come on! Having seen the beauty of the ethereal sea firsthand, I simply can't accept what they've done here in Alexandria. I understand this is part of their culture. It's no less disconcerting.
I've never seen it for myself, but it is said that if a beast's soul is poached enough, a single soul is enough to induce a monstrous transformation.
That is some foreshadowing, if I ever did read some myself. At the Emmett Cell callback here. The end of Endwalker. We got some foreshadowing. We all have our thoughts on souls. For now, the important thing is we know what power Zorolja has at his disposal. It is one thing to separate corporeal ether from incorporeal ether, but to strip memories from the souls entirely is unprecedented technology. This is no longer only Tuliolo's concern. With this newfound power, Zorolja has become a real threat to the entire world. Indeed, he has to be stopped, no matter the cost. Well, the cost will be like a lot of cutscenes, a dungeon, and a trial, but you know. Oh, that was an achievement? Complete the main scenario quest, Gone and Forgotten. That's a marker in the story, essentially, when you get achievements. It's like a block of story. Regulators give Zorolja a frightful advantage. That's just one of the devices he's gotten his hands on. If we're to have a chance at defeating him, we need to learn all we can about the technology he has at his disposal. And learn we shall in the next chapter. I think that's enough there. That was a whole hell of a lot. Wow. All right. If you've been enjoying this live, there will be more. If you've been enjoying it on the archive, there will still also be more. But if you want to watch more Final Fantasy XIV, there is a lot more of that. There's also my entire But I'm Bad series of over 500 episodes of me playing other RPGs. Also Final Fantasy XVI and Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the whole exhaustive playthrough, including hard mode for the Platinum Trophy. I'll be going back and getting the 7 Remake one after I have some time. It's been a busy few months. I still have to go back, and we're still doing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree right now, as this is currently happening at the same time. Yoshi P said I'll give you a week. Yo, okay. Only if you don't do early access, which I did. So we're here now. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Damn. Damn.